from quietly tormenting Elton John about his own name until the man can barely keep a straight face.
Well, Elton. I'm sure the first question that everybody would like to ask you is this. Funny name, Elton. How did you come by it?
To standing on a Formula One grid and mimicking the commentator interviewing him, so dry the man never even notices.
But here we are, Rowan Atkinson name dropping. Whatever next? I know. I am here as a matter of fact, as a guest of George Russell. So fantastic.
Everyone knows Rowan Atkinson as a physical comedian. Mr. Bean, the rubber face, the man who can make a room laugh for 7 minutes without saying a single word. Here are 9 times Rowan Atkinson broke a celebrity with nothing but a perfectly dry face. Elton John, we have to start here, even though it isn't a real interview. 1991, the London Palladium, a live charity gala. Rowan Atkinson walks out as a pompous deadpan interviewer, sits across from Elton John, who has been told to play it completely straight, and proceeds to ruin him over a single petty idea that Elton John has his Christian name as a surname.
Elton. Do you mind if I call you Elton?
No, it's fine.
Good. Well, Elton.
He will not let it go. Every question circles back to the same obsession, delivered like a serious journalist chasing a scandal.
And you didn't feel awkward with the name at all?
No.
You didn't feel that people might say, wait a minute, they mean John Elton?
He keeps it absolutely serious, as if a printing error is a real possibility worth investigating.
They've cocked up the record sleeve and printed the bloody name the wrong way around.
Elton John, under strict instructions not to laugh, is visibly losing the battle, and Atkinson just keeps finding new angles, turning to the songwriter Bernie Taupin to extend the same joke.
Did you ever discuss changing his name? Because presumably Taupin Bernie would have been more consistent with your Elton John.
Elton tries to redirect him back to the music. Atkinson refuses, escalating to Marilyn Monroe to prove his point.
Marilyn is a Christian name, so it comes first. Can't you see that? You word blind or something.
He even works in a pun on the comedian Ben Elton, so dry it takes a second to land.
Do you ever watch other performers and get jealous?
I'm not sure I follow you there. I mean, jealous of what?
Well, for instance, Ben Elton.
And that's the one that finally cracks Elton John's composure, protesting that he doesn't have to sit there for this.
I don't have to do this, you know.
All right. Look, I'm sorry.
The whole thing is built on one stupid joke approached 40 different ways, all completely deadpan. He even blames the name for Elton's chart history, right to his face.
You didn't have a solo British #1 until this year, with a song called Sacrifice. Now, my big question is this. Surely, you wouldn't have had to wait so long for a #1 if it hadn't been for your stupid, pointless, bloody name!
People have called it the original Between Two Ferns. The footage is scripted, but Elton John's struggle not to corpse is 100% real. Jeremy Clarkson now to the real stuff. July 2011, Top Gear. Atkinson is the star in a reasonably priced car, a genuine unscripted segment, and he's a serious car enthusiast. Clarkson asks what he races, and Atkinson describes his own car with the enthusiasm of a man filling in a form.
1964 Ford Falcon. It's a big sort of, 4.7 litre V8 and very, very light.
Isn't that like land yachting?
Yes, exactly. It's got a certain floppiness to it.
So Clarkson is needling him about whether he'll actually be any good in the cheap car.
Now, one of my worries about coming on the show was that I think that people know that I'm a car enthusiast and that I have done some racing, and that they will assume that in the reasonably priced car I'll be very good.
He sets the expectation high, then immediately pulls the rug, flat as anything.
When there's absolutely no guarantee of that whatsoever.
Then they watch his lap back, and the genius is in how flat Atkinson stays, while Clarkson narrates his own slowness back to him.
Keeping it between the lines. Obviously, the slower you appear to be going, and that does appear to be very slow indeed.
Clarkson keeps commenting on the lap like a wildlife documentary, and Atkinson watches himself crawl around the track without a flicker.
Anyway, that's a new interesting line. Second to last corner, that is beautifully handled, and Gambon, no drama, no histrionics, across the line.
By the end, Clarkson is openly telling him he's in the wrong job, and Atkinson takes the compliment with the enthusiasm of a man reading a tax form.
All your lap times were incredibly consistent, as is the mark of a great racing driver.
Pish and posh.
Turns out you're in the wrong career.
No jokes, really. Just a man being completely matter-of-fact about driving badly, and a studio that can't cope with how seriously he's taking it. The Mr. Bean Lookalike 2018. The Graham Norton sofa, packed with Jamie Lee Curtis, Gary Barlow, and Jeff Goldblum. Graham asks whether Mr. Bean is popular everywhere.
Yeah, it is. It has what we might call a global outreach.
Then Graham asks about being recognized everywhere, and Atkinson explains the strange agony of being half recognized, completely deadpan.
That means they stare. They stare a lot. And they just look. You're sort of feeling, I wish that person wouldn't stare at me. So, you know.
He says he'd almost rather just carry a sign confirming his own identity, flat as anything.
I'd rather just, hold up a flag saying, yes. Yes, that's me. A few years ago, there was I was in a Land Rover parts department near Peterborough, the kind of place you find me on most Saturdays.
Then he tells the story. A Land Rover parts department near Peterborough. A man who approaches him with a question.
He came up to me after a while and he said, "Excuse me, has anyone ever told you that you're the absolute spitting image of that Mr. Bean?"
Atkinson explains, deadpan, that he tried to tell the man the truth, and it only made everything worse.
I said, "Well, actually, I am the actor who plays Mr. Bean." And he said, "I bet you wish you were."
The man, he explains, became more convinced of the resemblance the harder Atkinson argued against it.
In which the more I tried to claim that I was the person whom he thought I merely resembled, the less he believed me. But what was funny was how close he thought I was to he said the resemblance is uncanny.
The whole sofa is gone. And then the punchline, the man's business proposal, delivered by Atkinson with the driest possible face.
Have you ever thought of doing any, lookalike work, like, stag nights and hen nights? You can go along as Mr. Bean.
The entire room is laughing, and Atkinson hasn't raised his voice once. He just reported a conversation. Flat, and let the absurdity do everything. Stephen Colbert, October 2018. The Late Show. The moment Atkinson sits down, Colbert tries a compliment and gets quietly dismantled for it.
I'm not sure I've ever met a man quite like you, Basil.
Let me clear up the uncertainty for you. You haven't.
Then Atkinson is explaining the origins of Blackadder, and Colbert is enjoying himself until Atkinson decides to define a basic word for him, completely straight-faced.
And we thought we'd quite like to do a sitcom of some, a situation comedy of some kind. I know it's sitcom. Sorry, I know I'm trying to...
Colbert says he knows what a sitcom is. Atkinson presses on anyway, treating the host like he might not be keeping up.
I thought I should.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I thought I should translate
exactly,
just in case. The jargon can be confusing.
He uses the word again immediately, just to flag that he's using it, then loses his own thread completely and recovers without a flicker.
You learned that at Oxford.
Yes. Yes. Well, actually, even before then, I knew it.
Prodigy. Prodigy.
I can't remember. I've completely lost my thread. Oh yes, why we conceived the Blackadder? Why?
Then he explains why they set Blackadder in the 1500s with the dry logic of a man who has thought about this far too much.
I'm sure it is unfavorably compared to Fawlty Towers even now. But anyway, we thought we'd reduce the chances of that by at least taking it completely out of the 20th century.
And when Colbert tries to praise the Oxford education behind it, Atkinson accepts it like a man who entirely agrees.
More of that Oxford education coming back.
Yes. You're dealing with the creme de la creme here.
Later, explaining the plot of his new film, he gets so tangled in spy logic that he has to check whether Colbert is even still with him. Completely flat.
Go and find out who's exposed the spies. So they have to bring someone. Are you following me? This is.
Oh, I want to understand.
This is pretty.
I'm there.
The Oxford paper bit same Colbert appearance, and this is the one that ties his whole career together. When Atkinson first walked out, he got a standing ovation, and even that he met with total dryness.
Not everybody gets a standing ovation.
Oh dear me, what lovely people.
They are, aren't they?
Nice.
I'm a huge fan.
Then, Colbert brings up a legendary story that a young Atkinson once made an Oxford audience laugh for 7 minutes holding nothing but a piece of paper without saying a word. He gets Atkinson to do the bit, but first, Atkinson sets the bar on the floor.
I can't remember very well now, so this won't be at all funny, but I'll do it anyway.
Then he does the wordless face routine that made his name, the entire studio roaring, and the second it lands, he flattens it instantly.
What a load of rubbish.
And thus the sitcom was born.
What's the sitcom?
What, the new movie, which is it the third?
It is the third.
That's the whole Atkinson move in one beat. Bring the room to its knees, then dismiss the entire thing like he's apologizing for wasting your time. Name dropping on the F1 grid, a genuine Formula 1 grid walk. Commentator Martin Brundle catches Atkinson trackside for a quick live interview. Brundle asks what Mr. Bean would make of all this, and Atkinson answers in character logic. Completely straight.
What would Mr. Bean reckon to all of this Formula 1 malarkey?
Atkinson answers in character logic. Completely straight.
Enjoy it very much because he's a car enthusiast, as you know.
Then, a serious car man himself, he starts gently echoing Brundle's own clipped broadcasting rhythm right back at him.
Hey, it's fantastic to be here. I'm a guest of George Russell, which is, it wasn't planned for me to be here on a weekend.
Then, he name drops his host and immediately narrates his own name dropping in the third person, flat as a board.
But here we are. Rowan Atkinson name dropping. Whatever next. I know. I am here as a matter of fact, as a guest of George Russell. So fantastic. So that's how privileged I am. Lovely to see you, Rowan. Enjoy the race.
It's so understated that Brundle just keeps moving, half missing that he's been gently sent up on live television. That's the danger of the Atkinson deadpan. Sometimes the target doesn't even realize it happened. Michael Parkinson 2003, a long, relaxed sit-down with Michael Parkinson. Atkinson is reflecting on how globally famous Mr. Bean has made his face, and rather than enjoy it, he treats it like a mild medical condition he's trying not to think about.
It's something that I try not to think about very much, because actually if I ever do, stop and dwell on how well known my face is in so many obscure corners of the world, then
The conclusion lands flat, like a diagnosis he'd rather not hear.
but I think I would find it rather disturbing.
He admits, deadpan, that even discussing it is upsetting him in real time.
But I'm being slightly disturbed about even talking about it.
Then, he describes a friend filming in the most remote village imaginable. No water, no electricity, and the one piece of media that had reached them.
Going into Africa, into some of the most deprived areas of Africa, and going to this, little African village where there's no water, no electricity, no services, nothing.
And then the image itself, delivered with the calm of a man reading the shipping forecast.
In the largest hut, the entire village was gathered, and there was a grainy, tiny black and white screen showing a Mr. Bean video.
He delivers a genuinely surreal image with total calm, and that flatness is exactly what makes Parkinson and the room go. Then the talk turns serious, to the famous Blackadder finale, and here Atkinson drops the deadpan entirely to describe something that genuinely affected him.
There was this deep sort of twist in the, in my stomach throughout that week of sort of thinking along with your character that you were doomed, that you were going to die at the end of the week.
It's the rare moment he lets the mask drop, and it lands precisely because for the rest of his career he never does. Jay Leno, October 1997, The Tonight Show, promoting the Bean movie. Leno is all high energy, and Atkinson is the opposite, slow and dry. Leno asks if he likes fast cars, and Atkinson defines the concept with painful precision.
I like cars. I like quick cars in particular. I like cars that go more quickly than other cars.
Leno waits for the joke. Atkinson just finishes defining the term with total sincerity.
That's the kind of quick car. That's the definition itself. That'll be a quick car.
Then he tells a story about filming a commercial where the director needed him to look lovingly at a woman, and his own wife supplied the fix. Deadpan.
The director said, just imagine that you've just seen your wife for the first time. And my wife happened to be on set.
His wife's correction is the punchline, delivered by Atkinson with a perfectly level face.
And she said, no, that won't work. Tell him to look at her as if she's his new Aston Martin.
Then he tells the story of getting pulled over for speeding, building the whole thing on the quiet hope that the officer might be a fan.
Sometimes wonder whether when you encounter a speed cop, whether he's going to recognize you and whether that is going to ease the way, ease the pain a little bit, whether he might.
He keeps the fantasy going, completely deadpan, right up until reality arrives.
Because he's a fan and an admirer. And so I was hoping this might be the case, but he was a very stern and British policeman. He made out the ticket.
The cop, it turns out, recognized him perfectly well. He just had other priorities.
So sign the ticket, please. And if you just sign that for my daughter.
Then, Leno asks him to explain the Bean character, and Atkinson breaks the man down with clinical, deadpan precision.
He's a child who's grown up physically, but not mentally. Yeah. So he's stuck at a sort of age around 9 or 10 mentally. If I ever want to know how Mr. Bean is going to behave in any given situation, I merely think about how a 10-year-old boy would behave. Right.
The whole appearance is Atkinson hoping fame will save him, and being calmly, completely defeated, told entirely deadpan. Terry Wogan 1983, a young Rowan Atkinson on Wogan, here to talk about a new show called Blackadder, except he refuses to actually tell Terry Wogan anything about it.
Quite. Don't want to say too much.
No, I don't.
Wogan, exasperated, points out that a lot of his guests do this. And Atkinson agrees, with a flat reasoning of a man explaining something obvious.
I get a lot of people on this show, do you notice, who refuse to tell me anything about themselves or the shows that they're doing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, it's best to keep people waiting.
Then, Wogan asks if his face is his greatest asset, and Atkinson takes the compliment apart with surgical, deadpan modesty.
He doesn't like to be labelled a face puller because you feel as though if you have got a face that, you know, is manageable and can go like that.
He explains the whole problem with his own talent in the most self-deprecating, deadpan way possible.
You feel that people are going to assume that you're just, you know, that's all you can do.
Then he reveals his real ambition, to play a Bond villain, and the one line he always wanted to deliver on screen.
I really always wanted to be the villain. I always wanted to be the man who said, "Not so fast, Mr. Bond." You know that man? Just when he said about just going, "Not so fast, Mr. Bond."
And when Wogan asks if he'd ever play Bond himself, Atkinson sidesteps it with a perfectly flat non-answer.
You wouldn't have any ambitions to play the part of Bond himself. Because
Well, actually,
old Cubby is looking for another James Bond.
I like to play James Bond. I once thought I'd like to play Doctor Who.
Even at the very start of his career, decades before the rubber face made him a global star, the weapon was already the same. Not the face, the flat, patient, perfectly serious voice attached to it.